Hey everybody, welcome to episode 2 of the Wyche-Derrick house renovation series. I promised at the end of the last video that I was going to show you the outside of the house, and it didn't happen that day. So I'm going to take some time this afternoon on a nice, beautiful, clear sky day. It's a little chilly, hence the long sleeve shirt, but I'm going to show you around a little bit, show you what our plans are, and maybe show you some of the history. I'll try to detail a little bit about what was originally on the house as far as we know and what has been added since the house was built. For more information on that, you may want to search for Wyche-Derrick house on YouTube and look at some of the videos that Preserve SC has done. I think there's 5 or 6 videos on there, and he does a good job of walking through and showing some of the history as far as what's been added, and compares it against the etch drawing, which I think is on Facebook. If not, I'll get that up there too. But the etch drawing shows what the house looked like when it was originally built, and you can see a couple of differences where they've added on. So anyway, let's go walk around and I'll point some things out to you. Alright, so first off is what you see right in front of the camera here. This is the actual outside storage room, or storage building. I'm definitely going to keep this as is. I love it. It just yells, screams character. Let's take a look at the inside real quick. It's got lots of extra boards that they tore off during some of the renovation, or some of the early tear down of walls that were added that shouldn't have been added, that kind of thing. Love that there's a tree growing inside of it. But yeah, this storage room is going to stay right here. It's got a nice wood floor. Everything's in pretty decent shape. Anyway, so let's go look at the house. So first off, actually, you can see the house there. This is I call it the back door, but it's well, I guess it is the back of the house. The yard, actually, it's a good sized yard. There's actually 2 lots included with it. It's 1.3 acres total. There was a old building there that they've already torn down. It was in pretty bad state of repair, and I think I showed in one of the videos this tree. This is the very first thing we'll be doing next week, is getting this part of the tree that is split off. Going to be getting rid of that, because this right here, this part of land right here, is the only access I have to getting the trailer back here. I'm going to be parking my enclosed trailer in the backyard to serve as kind of a construction trailer. Okay, so let's start back here. No, actually, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to walk around to the front of the house. You've got to clean up this too, I guess. We're going to walk around to the front of the house, and I'll show you what's going to be done up there and what some of the history is. Love this bay window here. While we're here, I'll go ahead and show you that. That is going to be scary to paint. It's good 40-50 feet up. Okay, so here we are around the front of the house. Great view here with the trees. I'll have to ask Mike again what the name of this tree is. In fact, he says it in one of his videos. Beautiful tree. You can see the great pine needles on it. It's named after a person's last name, and I can't remember what it is. Big azalea bush. This is an old goldfish pond, which we will definitely bring back. Even has a little stone or concrete bird with it. Anyway, so let's go look at the front of the house. So as you can see, there's some little bit of issues with some of the rails right here are a little out of level. Over here you can see it too. Especially up at the top, you can see there's a little bit of rot up there, and some trim is just, it was actually put up there in that way where it's a little off. If you remember from the last video, I showed you that post that was above, that was on the balcony where there's a gap there. The reason is that because this has settled, that floor has gone down with it. So that's one of the few structural repairs we're going to make. Is going to get that fixed up, and also work on getting some of these posts back up to where they're supposed to be. For example, you can see here, this post is not sitting on the porch. And you can also see there's some issues there. One of the issues is that the front of the porch there, that is too much of a lean for a porch. So what I'm hoping to do is bring that back up to closer to level. Of course, you don't want a porch to be level, but that's just too far off. So we're going to have to do a little bit to get that straightened up. Going to keep these beautiful stairs just like they are. Going to try to straighten up that side piece there to make it stand up plumb. One thing I will be doing is removing all of the concrete block underpinning. Going to replace that with lattice. Going to let the bottom of the house breathe. Let's look up here a little bit. You can see there's still a little bit of aluminum siding on. That has to be taken off. Lots of decorative scroll work. Just beautiful stuff. If you look up, I don't know if you can see in this video or not, but the scroll work points towards the peak of the house. So like you can see right here, see how it kind of points to the left, or drops down and goes to the left? Is that way all the way across. And the top is pointing up on this side and up on this side. There's history behind that. I'll have to ask Mike again. He was saying something about before World War I, I believe he said, it points up. After World War II, if it had any kind of decoration like that, it would point down. Don't know the significance there. I need to talk to them to make sure I can take this scroll work and put it along this part too. You'll notice that there's some corner braces on the post. Those are the only two places there are that has the braces. Those will be put in also. We've already got all that made, and that'll be added to the porch. So one thing about the front of the house, when it was originally built, it looked just like this, except this side of the porch has been added on. This porch was here, except for it was a straight line across, so I'm not really sure, because it had this dormer on the original house, but somehow this was a straight line, so I'm not really sure exactly what it used to be since it was first, or what it used to look like when it was first built. You'll also note there's some window panes missing. That window is missing. That's also going to be one of the first things we do, is get all the windows fixed. Alright, so let's go walk around to the side. This is where it'll be very obvious that there was an addition made. So look right here. And disregard the rot and the state of disrepair, but that part of the roof, starting right here to about right here, is original porch. This corner was added on. You have to. I don't know if I'm going to do a lot of leveling to the floor right here, but it is definitely out of level. If I don't level the floor, what I'll do is I'll level the railing so that it at least looks level. Continuing back here, this is something I found was very interesting. I was out here one day looking up here, and I noticed something very interesting. Take a look at the beads that are on these pieces. The beads are on the right side of the boards. Right here, it changes to the left side. And also you can see that the boards are a little bit wider. That is evidence, and of course the seams and the seam up there, that's evidence that this part of the porch back here was added on later. Down to here. I think possibly that this bay window, if you want to call it bay window, I'm not sure what the right term would be for that, was possibly added on later also, because the ceiling heights on the inside are a little bit different between this part that sticks out and the rest of the dining room. So let's walk up here. And this is the side door that goes right into the steps. There's a little Harry Potter room underneath this. I guess you can't really see that, so we'll skip that. All right, so this is porch. It's missing a piece of railing down there. That'll be replaced. As you can see, this part right here that drops down, I need to do a little bit of work up here to get it fixed up. So anyway, let's walk around the porch, and here's another view of that beautiful wavy glass. Love that. Trash bag will stay. Alright, so walking around here, large area coming from the main living room here. So nice size front porch. Gonna spend lots of quality rocking time here. Gonna install some new fans. When I do the wiring, we won't see the wiring coming around like this. That's just ugly. Like this right here. You can barely see it on the post, but once it gets up there, that's just not right. So I'll actually get access into the attic above the porch here and run the wire correctly. Lights here. This area, this beam right here that I'm pointing at, I don't know if you can see it very well. This beam right here. That is what is holding the floor up in that balcony that has started to collapse. You can see this beam, there's actually nothing inside of it. It's just a box made of heart pine. Because it's heart pine, it is pretty strong, but it's not strong enough. Obviously there's some issues here that will need to be repaired. You can see how that's dropped down a little bit. So anyway, and I'll replace that, get rid of that lattice with a rail that matches the rest of it. And by the way, she's awesome. If you ever need anything real estate, give her a call. Okay, let's go walk around, keep walking around to the other parts of the house. That's kind of nice. Alright, so back around to here. Right now we have a temporary power pole. It is going to serve our needs until we have some wiring run, which I went yesterday or the other day and talked to the county, so I got all the permits going to be lined up and ready to go. This is a window, if you remember from the last video I talked about in the kitchen, that's going to be coming out. You can see where the old window was, and all the way up to the top up here and down. That's where we're going to put a window back in there. The old place where there was a door right here, that's going to stay like that. Oh, and you can see also these are those windows that were made shorter in the dining room. Those pieces of wood up here will be removed and full height windows put back in. If you remember, I showed you that cool little breezeway between the dry storage building in the back and the kitchen. This is the shutters that leads to that. Oh, one more thing to show you out here. It's kind of neat, I thought. The trim up here, notice how the trim is pointing to the right here. Well, it switches right above the door, which is right there. It switches and points to the left after that. Of course, it's hard to tell with them all broken, but it does the same thing at the top. It points to the left, and then right there, pretty much lined up right under the chimney from this point of view, it switches direction and points to the right. So we'll keep that the exact same. Same with the trim up here. I came by here earlier today because I was looking for attic access into this part of the roof or part of the building. There is none. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a access hole inside that dry storage building and to be able to get into the attic. Oh, and these two wires here. You see the wires going up to the house? That's how they got power to the upstairs. They actually ran it from outside along the front of the house, and then it goes up into the roof, or right under the roof, up there about halfway towards the front of the house. So Here's the back of the house. That used to be a porch, but it has since been closed in. We're actually going to convert that to a screened porch. Going to get rid of that storm door first thing. It's got a big piece of broken glass. So you see how this looks not very nice, but I think once it's turned into a screen porch, fix that trim up there that's rotted and not quite level. Lots of rot happening in here. That's actually, this is the old porch that's been converted to a bathroom, if you remember that from the inside video. So I'll fix all that rot up there, get it all lined up, get it squared up. Eventually, probably last thing is we're going to put a Trex deck in this area that creates a square here, just to have an outdoor space. Right behind me though is a nice little outdoor chimney, kind of like a outdoor kitchen, I think one of my friends on Facebook called it. So that's going to stay, of course, and get turned into a nice little outdoor area. One of the neat things about this, okay, for one thing, you can see the header on the porch. You remember I pointed in the other video where the top was inside the bathroom. Well, here's the outside. You can see the top of the porch. This wall was all added later. This also used to be, this part of the house, just this one room, was one story. This was added later. This top story was added later. You can actually see that by the roof. It's not very often you can make the letter M from somebody's roof. That is just not the way it's done. But that's not going to change. That's exactly how it's going to stay. I'll make sure that when we replace the roof that it remains functional and doesn't leak. But it's very interesting nonetheless. And we started from this side. We still have some siding to take down. Like I said, up there we still got a lot of aluminum siding to take down. It's going to be a job, but one that can be done. Just going to have to rent some tools to be able to get up that high. They had aluminum siding on here, so they removed a piece of trim that was here. This was all original, but they removed this trim, so I'll have to put one more piece of siding here to just plug in that hole, but that all is going to stay the same. It's going to look really nice when it's all cleaned up and done, and that's the one window with a screen. It's going to be interesting to find screens that size. I'm sure I'm going to have them custom made, but I do want to use screens. Oh, actually these two have screens. That's good. Anyway, so that's about it. Not really much else to show. You can see that chimney up there. Pretty much needs to be replaced because it does lean. There's actually a little bar behind it. I don't know if you can see the bar, but it's actually holding the chimney up. But it needs to be replaced and redone. Note the bricks in the middle. When they brought that this part of the house up, they had to raise the height of the chimney, so that's where the old top of the line was, and then they added that part above it. So yeah, that's going to be fixed up and replaced. I'm sure I'm going to contract that out to a person that knows how to lay brick other than myself, and I think that's basically it. So until next time, hopefully in the next week or so we'll start actually doing some work, and we'll have some really fun videos for you. Alright, see you later.